What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling like the opposite of inflation. Hope you guys are feeling like the IWM. Now that one's moving like crazy, but we got SPY up, we got Qs up, we got TLT up. Everything is rocking and rolling. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Anna, Bill, Brian, Corey, David. We got Frank in the house. Good morning to Jay, Jeff. Good morning to Joe. We got Marius. Good morning to you. JT just piled in. Good morning to Micah, Shane, Tim. Got both Tims in the house. Good morning to both of you guys as well. All my people out in YouTube land. We got Ivo. Good morning to you. All my other lurkers in the backgrounds, not making any comments. That's okay. Just hit that like and subscribe button. I did throw in YouTube, and I'll throw it into the chat here for you guys too. So anybody that missed it yesterday, we still got that registration open for to hop into the Zoom room, the Zoom portion of the meeting we got with or the class we're doing with myself, Johnny, and Stephen King tomorrow night, 7 p.m. So I threw the link in there. Still time to register. Again, it is free. It's 100% off. It's actually $1 million, but I gave the Groupon price, so 100% off, absolutely free. You guys could join. We want to see all you guys there for that one. CPI comes in light. Yeah, inflation working its way down. We had the Fed futures rate. They were kind of saying after some reports we got a few weeks ago that okay, maybe rate cuts are off the table for the year. At least a big decrease in like expectation for it, but with the light CPI right back on the table, and there's talks that it could be July now. I don't think so. I think we still hold for that September date. But we do have Jerome Powell later today. We also got the SEP. So we got the dot plot later today as well. And we're gonna have the FOMC meeting today and rate decision. I don't think that we get any rate cuts today, so I'm still putting that as like I guess I could go 0% chance. I don't really think that's happening at all. But then we have to hear what Jerome Powell says, and I think the dot plot is going to be huge as well. So we should have that coming out today too, and just that gives us an idea of essentially where the Fed, all of the voting members, where they're at in terms of where they think that the rates will be in about a year. And that will help give us, or at least paint the picture of a little bit more of what the Fed is actually thinking. And then we got Jerome Powell comments too. So pretty busy day in the market in terms of news. We got a lot going on tomorrow. We got PPI coming out as well, and I believe we got some job reports tomorrow and I think Friday as well. So still a lot of news. We're not even close to done with the projected volatility of the market, but we'll see what happens. SPY really good gap up, so they just don't want me to hit that gray line. I think my random line from 2 years ago, they just don't even want me to get a candle into it. I guess that's what's happening here. So we tried to push up into it, no, couldn't do it. Now we just jump right over it. So we're at 541.75. Definitely some buying yesterday. Definitely some buying into this move. This is a pretty big move in the markets. I got no resistance above me. We're opening into all-time highs, providing that the next 25 minutes we don't crash and burn, but I don't see any signs of that. But I would expect this probably a little bit of a retest day. I think we get some profit taking, would make some sense. I got no levels higher. My arbitrary line is now my is now my support, I guess, 538.88. But again, I don't remember why I put the line there, but it's still there. So the real spot would be probably the close of yesterday, which is a pretty big retracement down to 537.04, and then we got 536.18. So we'll see. We got a few zones that could give us some support. They're not close, so if we do reverse this entire day, that could kind of feel a little bit ugly at the end, but it still kind of fits into the corrective pattern. Q's gapping up a lot too. So Q's going from 468.02 up to, at this point, 472.40. So we'll see. Obviously, a lot of buying. Good breakout day yesterday. Good close. Got the VPOC up higher. And this should be, I think, probably leaning a little bit. At least I'd be cautious at this level. I'm still bullish on the overall market, but I'm coming in as a day trader. I think I'd have to be a little cautious on maybe getting some of those pullbacks into this. Just some profit taking and just be cautious going bullish right at open, right out of the gate. That being said, and we'll check TLT real quick. TLT. Yep. So bonds are liking it. So bonds are higher, which means yields are lower. That's also positive for the stock market. We do have some resistance coming in. Probably next resistance on this one about 93.18. We managed to gap above that 200 and also really, really good resistance somewhere around 92.13. So if we end up fading this one, which is also a retest gap, look for that 92.13, see if that one wants to hit, see if we retest around there at all. But we do have a little bit of resistance slightly above us on this one. In terms of where I'd rather be bullish today, I see the Meta coming in. I see the Microsoft coming in. I see Amazon coming in. Coin's going to be a different story. HASI, I'd have to look that one up. Not sure what that is, but um, I don't know if it's any of those. I don't know if it's any of the big guys. We'll run through those. But I think with the news today, I think the IWM is moving a lot more. I think anything rate sensitive will probably outperform some of the bigger guys. We'll take a look at these names that came in, and then we'll run through some of the ones that I was looking at. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But we do have, again, retest gap, a little bit of resistance, pretty good resistance, somewhere around 519.97. Oracle is going to be a different story altogether. Yeah. 519.97 has a little bit of resistance right above us. Retrace gap. So let's see if we can get some bids, some excited bulls out of the gate, and then retest or look to short somewhere around this 520, just under 520. Would be the first spot I would look for. So I'm not going to go bullish or bearish if it was a retest gap, but I would like to see Meta kind of move up higher first and then look for some kind of sell off. Let me get this Meta up a little bit higher, but that is a gap that I do think probably will get filled at some point, whether it be today or not. I think this gap does get filled, and some buying out of the gate into that, come up a little higher into that resistance would make some sense. Again, if there's companies that are interest rate sensitive, which Meta not so much. Nvidia, the same thing. We'll go to that one. I know nobody requested it, but same thing with Nvidia. We got a whole heck of a lot of lines on the chart. See, where'd that line come from now? I don't know. I don't know where that gray line came from on Nvidia. Did they move my lines after the adjusted split? I'm not sure. But we got Nvidia. So Nvidia's a gap and go, not a lot of resistance above us. This one, if I had to go bullish on something, I'd probably take this one over Meta, just because the VPOCs are lining up. We have maybe 124.09 is some kind of resistance on this. But just in terms of the gap, yeah, I kind of like the Nvidia one. Although I still think some of these smaller, like Nvidia is not going to be interest rate sensitive. So I think we get some bigger moves elsewhere, but the Nvidia one actually doesn't look too bad. MSFT gap into all-time highs. Again, could we go bullish on this? Yeah, it's a good gap. It's definitely a retest though. So I'm not saying this one can't go higher. But again, the news has to do with interest rates, and they're not, they don't need them. They don't really, Microsoft doesn't really care if the rates are higher or lower for the most part. PLTR is a different story too. That might be a little bit more of a play, but we'll check resistance. Otherwise, this should be a retest gap. Again, just I'd be cautious on the bull play on this one. Although, again, no targets to the higher side, just higher. But I think we see some kind of maybe pullback a little bit on the softy. PayPal could be a good one too. I know I think I missed one. Hold on. Shopify could be good. Yep, Shopify could be one of those names that might be able to get some continuation. We're well into the gap at this point. The only thing with this one is, even though it's a high wave indecision yesterday, We're gonna have some moving averages above us. Obviously, I think everybody's probably targeting close to 68, 76 zone. Uh, that run up into this one will make me nervous on this gap up. So I'd almost want to see the pullback on Shopify, although this one would be affected a little bit more by some of the interest rate cuts. So we'll get Shopify on the list. The 200 at least, so I'll probably set my target for that if we are going bullish. 67.43. Otherwise, we're going to have this one moving average right here, which is around 65.41 holding us back. Let's check out Palantir. Palantir, as soon as those numbers came out, that one started to rip. So that's decent. This one I was looking at earlier. Oops. Actually, hold on before we change, since I accidentally clicked this one. Kind of into resistance. Palantir. This one I wouldn't mind the high wave candle. Give me that high wave candle play, I think. Let me get this one higher on the list. Because they're not as prone to the interest cut rates, being that they have a large amount of money in the bank. Like they're still in a healthy position where they're not really taking out loans, but it is to the smaller end. You still got the AI effect to it. So if Nvidia wants to go, that's probably good for Palantir as well. Yeah, give me a little pullback because this is a nice little run up into it. Really good close yesterday. Would love to see some kind of retest closer to this 23.87. But I was looking at this one pre-market as well, just because I have targets back to my retest spot would be back into this 25.16. Although somewhere around the 24.50 could be held up a little bit. We'll get to Hood and Coin in a second. Airbnb looked real good. So I had that already pushed up on my list. Airbnb looks real good. So very similar to Shop, where we're kind of in that gap at this point. Not as much of a run up into this as Shop has had. We still have to deal with some of those moving averages. Maybe I guess the next first target, if we're being honest with ourselves, probably about 151.60. Otherwise, I mean, that's not a strong one. We also got 153.67. And then probably we could get to 155.39 if it's a really, really good day. But we got to get through a bunch of those moving averages. I do like this gap a little bit more. There's not a heck of a lot of volume. Probably about 153.07 is really our first spike in volume. It's not a huge one, but maybe that's where we get held up today, somewhere around 153. Otherwise, yeah, until we really get back into this 159, 160 zone, which is where I would have this one going. But also right off that 200, we had some bear traps. But yeah, I have this one pretty high on the list. The other one I got on the list too is Enphase, and then we'll get to Hood and Coinbase. Enphase, definitely anything solar powered, anything clean energy, highly affected by interest rates. This one to me is a really, really good gap. I'm watching this one closely at open. I also don't see a whole lot of volume in here. So not a lot to really hold us back to about 161. So I think Enphase could have a really good day. Wouldn't mind that high wave candle. Give me we did have a small little run up into this. But anybody in the shorts down here for a long time, all the way back to August 2023, starting to feel a little bit more trapped with a big runway ahead of us to go bullish to 160. So not a bad potential on Enphase. So this one I'm definitely looking at. I know you guys requested Hood. Hood very similar, so we don't really have any volume zones. I do still have my price target up at like the 30, well, I forget what I said, 38, 36. Still well off of that, so potentially a good breakout here. The only thing again on this one is we had that run into it. So I probably do need a small little pullback, but I would be leaning still more bullish than bearish on Hood. So I don't want to short this, play the fade. I don't think there's enough room in it. But any small pullback, I think, will be eventually bought up in this one. So this one I do have very high, actually, first one on the list. And then crypto, which I I kind of find the crypto space pretty amusing because it's supposed to be the hedge for inflation. So now you're telling me inflation's coming down, and then I saw the Coinbase portfolio just jump up on lower lower inflation. So it's moving more with inflation than it is against inflation. So I don't really understand. I was sold something different, I think, but nonetheless, Bitcoin did start to bounce. Most things did start to bounce right after the CPI came out today. Really good gap up here. Still inside day from 2 days ago. So from Monday, which was a retest gap. I'd want to see a little pullback to 250.56. If we could get that, I got my targets, or at least my next target would be up to about 256.51. And if we could get to that zone, we're breaking above the opening price of that candle. So we might be able to hang into this one a little bit longer into like 259. So if I get a little pullback, I get slightly better risk reward. Not saying it's going to pull back, but would like to see it. So I'm going to get hood on coin on that list as well. Tim is saying risk on. Yeah, risk on, but there's already been risk on. We were hitting all time highs not too long ago. I don't think we hit all time highs yesterday. But with Bitcoin, with Bitcoin, with crypto in general, yeah, the lower interest rates means things are a little bit more affordable. Money's a little bit cheaper. If rates start coming down again, they haven't come down yet, and I don't expect them to come down today. But the market's not banking on today; it's banking on the next 12 months. So they're looking at those. They're looking at everything, going, okay, well, we see rates coming down, and providing that the economy is like we don't want to see the rates come down because the economy is in recession. Like that's different. But if the economy's holding and we've seen jobs kind of pull back a little bit, but we've also seen a huge spike after COVID. So more or less just normalizing. And if we get the rate cuts based on that, then I don't think the rate cuts are going to really have a negative impact. But money becomes cheaper. Once money becomes cheaper, and those bonds aren't paying 5%, 5.2, 5.4%. Okay. You gotta throw your money somewhere, and you probably would get a better risk reward in you're gonna get much higher risk, but you'll get better risk reward at least into crypto, or at least it would be a little bit more worth it to throw money into the crypto space. So I can see why they're moving, but it's also supposed to be a hedge against inflation. I don't know. But coin, yeah, really good gap. Let's see if we get a small little pullback into that 250 range. Otherwise, that's on the list. Oracle had earnings. Their earnings weren't tremendous. They missed, but they said the magic word, which is, I mean, that CEO should get a raise just for that. But they did miss earnings per share by just under 1 penny. Not horrible, but it was still a miss, and then surprise miss of revenue by 275 million. But they mentioned AI. They talked about AI, and that's really all. It doesn't matter what you do or how much money you can make. No money, and but AI. You get the AI effect. It's very business is simple. I don't understand why every CEO is not a great one. Just mention a lot AI a lot, but they're getting the AI pump. This is a really good gap for them. We'll put it on the list. It might be a little too wide for me to play bullish at this point. I can't. I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't be shocked in the least if this thing does go higher from here. I just don't know if it's going to go with me, because that is a pretty good gap. If the earnings were a little bit better and the company looks stronger, I might be into it. Maybe trapping some bears, and definitely trapping. I mean, if you check out the after hour move on this one, the initial move, little drop, they're not trapping too many bears when the report came out. But I'd be looking for a fade, but not shocked either way. So I probably, for me, stay away from Oracle. Really good gap, all time highs. I got no real resistance above us, or none whatsoever. SoFi, and I don't think we looked at PayPal either yet. Yeah, Larkin says end phase big gap up. I'm watching that one closely. That one I'm watching real closely, Larkin. SoFi, 721. Okay, my call's probably coming back a little bit today. Good double bottom. Corey changed his name to AI. That's a You just made 6 R's today, just with that name change. It's crazy. Yeah. SoFi, good gap, really good consolidation. We do have some resistance, 728, and then we got 729. We can start getting above that though. We have a lot of room up till probably about 746 on this one. And we'll see if they can kind of change the negativity of the story, but there is a lot of green candles here, so maybe some profit taking on this gap up. Otherwise, it looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna be biased on this one completely. So don't take any because I do have some calls, lots and lots of time on it. But otherwise, came down good small double bottom, longer term double bottom as well. And the key spots that we really got to start closing above is back to the 758. It's AI now, was crypto at one time before the internet. Yeah, it was 3D printing at one time at one time too. Nobody mentioned 3D printing in a while. Mhm. Yeah, if any company touched 3D printing, they were the future. They were the future. All right, let me check out Amazon, AMZN. You'll get those rotations. You'll get those rotations. It was EV. EV was one. Now everyone's like, Tesla doesn't move. Amazon, that's a lot of green days in a row. And then we got targets. Probably first little resistance I'll be watching for. I don't think it's a huge one, but look for like 189.38. We probably can get above that. And then we're looking for like 190.64. But that's a lot. I would need some kind of pullback on this one first for Amazon. What was the other one that you had? HASI. Hannon Armstrong Sustainable Infrastructure Capital. I'm surprised I couldn't fit a couple more words in that name. How do we come up with a? They sat there around the table trying to figure out what the name of the company should be. And what if we name it something that nobody will ever say? Can we do that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Should we include the word AI in the title? No. No, 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 no. AI is going to be a fad. We got, yeah, good gap here. Is there news on this one? Price target upgrade. So from 37 to 39. It's still a little bit of a ways higher, which is good. But on this one, this is the retest gap, and you're right into that resistance. I'd be careful at this one if you do want to play along with some of those upgrades. And we've seen this a lot. As soon as the company gets upgraded, they just they just start falling from the good graces of the heavens. But be careful on this one. You do have a lot of resistance up here, and it's a retest gap. So probably some people looking to take some profits, I would assume. Otherwise, I would be waiting for see if we get back down to like 31.85 to look for that fade. And there is some room to play this one to the downgrade. If you are playing the fade on this one, it is good news for the company. So I don't want to brush that off. You're probably going against the grain. Obviously, you're going against the momentum. So the short side is going to be a little tougher, but I can't be a buyer up here for me. I killed it on wheel. Yeah, I thought the wheel was going to be a fad. I don't know how that one. I don't know how I didn't see that one coming. UPS, yeah, they came out with this round thing. It rolls. I'm like, it's just gonna roll away from you. I don't understand. What good could this wheel possibly do? And now look at us. You know who's laughing? Who's laughing last there? UPS. Okay, gap. Nothing too crazy. This one will also. I want to see probably 138.53 start to break. If we can get above that one, okay, we might have a decent little pump on this one, probably to about 139.97. So not a huge amount of room, but I do have resistance right there. I also got the 20 EMA kind of approaching down. So I I would like personally, I would like to see this one stay inside this one for a little bit longer, retest some of those, maybe come down to like this 137.25, but not a horrific gap for sure. Just got a lot of resistance right there. So I think there might be um some better trades out there where we have more upside. Let's see, Tesla. Tesla's gonna be an interesting one for sure. Let me take these lines off. You got the Elon decision tomorrow. So do we pay Elon? Do we give him his money that they agreed to? If you hit these chaotic, arbitrary, no one's ever going to hit these targets, and we pay you billions of dollars if you do. They took the handshake and signed some papers, but then he did it, and they're like, wait, yeah, Delaware court doesn't like that one. So, but we get that decision tomorrow. So Tesla would be a little bit interest rate sensitive. You will have that with it. I don't think this one will probably get a move till tomorrow, and it's whether we pay Elon or we don't pay Elon, we get that past us. And then we also will have some kind of we'll have a little bit more from the CPI today. We'll already have Jerome Powell coming out saying what he's got to do, his little song and dance. And then we got the Elon news. So we start to get some news past us. For right now, though, I do think there's probably also some better trades out there. But just be aware tomorrow we should hear about the Elon news. So if you want to position yourself for it, whether you think they pay him or don't pay him, and if the company responds good or bad to the news, there's a couple factors in there, but just be aware for tomorrow that should be coming out on Tesla. Elon should finally figure out if he's making just absolutely insane amounts of cash or not, and then how that's going to affect Tesla. And why I say I don't know if it's good or bad news. I don't know how the market's going to react or the stock is going to react to if he gets paid or not. I really don't. The one thing for me is, yeah, if they pay him, what is it, 43 billion or something, 50 billion, some whatever crazy number. If they pay him, then obviously the cash is not in the company, right? So that money leaves the company. So on the balance sheet, yeah, it looks bad. At the same time, you keep Elon happy. I just don't imagine where people like. I mean, the agreement's made. It's happened. He hit the numbers. He hit the like if he didn't qualify and is still demanding, that's different. So, but I don't see how we get to Tesla without Elon. So like they're like, no, we want the money in the company. That's our money. Okay, but again, if Elon's like, well, then forget it, and Elon leaves, I think those investors will be changing their tunes real quick. And I just how this one works without him. I don't know. Man, that's the morning bell already. That's crazy. Redfin will be yeah, interest rate sensitive too. So watch that one. That could be a decent one. You're already starting to pass resistance. Next little target, 717. But everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. I did also throw very early into the chat. I'll do it real quick again, but that link for tomorrow night. So if you guys want to sign up for that, it is me, Johnny, and Stephen King. I don't think I said that in the correct order for proper English, but that's the way it's going to roll for tomorrow. So it is a free course, free class. Should be fun. We want to see as many guys there. I did throw that link into the chat. You could also find it on Real Life Trading website, just in case sometimes that does not go through. But be safe out there in the market. News is not done for the day. We still got Jerome Powell. We still got dot plot. We still got a lot of fun activities planned ahead of us in today's market. And then we get hit